What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So today we're going to give quick updates on two stocks that have gained a lot of traction and notice over the last few months, and they are HITIF HighTide and Healthier Choice Management, ticker symbol HCMC. Now, as this is the third update we're giving on these stocks, I'll link in the description below the prior two videos where I went into a lot more in-depth detail about who the companies are, the fundamentals, and made a look at their technical analysis. So we're going to kind of skip all of that part today and kind of get straight to the catalysts and news. And with all that being said, let's dive right into today's video. Now firstly, we'll look at HCMC. If we look at the 1 month chart, it doesn't look too good in fairness. It's currently trading at 0.0016 of a cent per share. And we can see the kind of steady decline over the last 30 days. Even on the 1 month chart alone, it's down about 68%, which is bad even for a penny stock. But we're going to look at next one or two news articles, both positive and negative, that will impact this company going forward. Let's briefly look at their Q4 earnings. Now, this news is about a week or so old at the moment, but it does kind of give you a good stepping stone of where this company is heading in the next 12 months. We can see first of all here, net sales at the end of this year amounted to 13.9 million. It's down from last year's exact same time of about 15.1 million. Again, that's probably mainly due to the pandemic as well, but it's still down since last year. We can also see gross profits are down since this time last year of about 0.7 million or $700,000. And we can also see on screen the operating expenses decreased by 16% as well. Now again, as this is all old news and it's about a week or so old, I don't really want to go into in-depth detail. I talked about this a lot more in my prior videos within this company. So I want to kind of discuss more in depth the kind of new articles or news that will act as catalysts going forward for this company. Probably what 99.9% of investors within HCMC are waiting for is the update on the lawsuit with Philip Morris. Now, as you're probably already aware, a few weeks back, Philip Morris pushed back this counteracting statement and kind of wanted to dismiss this lawsuit. Again, that's probably fairly obvious. Any company will do so. They'll always try to kind of get out of it. So it will be interesting to see what this counteracting statement and claim will end up with. And it's certainly not over yet, but definitely it has dropped over the last few weeks in share price, mainly due to Philip Morris fighting back. But on the flip side of things, HCMC have a very good lawyer and kind of law team set up for this claim. And the claim again is got to do with patent rights on a vape. So it will be very interesting to see if they can turn this around in the coming weeks. And if they can, this could be a huge news for HCMC. Again, as I said in my prior video, there's three outcomes within this lawsuit. The two obvious ones being HCMC winning or losing. The third one that a lot of people kind of haven't thought about yet is of PM, so Philip Morris, actually taking over HCMC. Again, in my opinion, that will definitely improve the share price as well. So it's kind of two positives and one negative that can come from this lawsuit. And another big piece of news for HCMC that I thought would never be news, but it's after opening their own official Twitter page. Now, for some of the investors that aren't in this company just because of the lawsuit, again, that's probably quite a small fraction, but it does bode well for consistency and a long-term perspective, as HCMC are now taking the initiative to making a Twitter page, so you'll be getting consistent and accurate updates within the company. And with Philip Morris being a speculative penny stock that has a lot of volatility over the last few months, and again, with every single penny stock, information is key. So this is really reassuring for investors that you'll be getting accurate, up-to-date information from the horse's mouth, so to speak. So that will definitely give investors confidence, and it might even bring up the share price in the coming weeks because more will start to buy in because they believe fundamentally that the company is going in the right direction. HCMC's CEO Jeffrey Holman made a claim here saying that the company is extremely grateful for their support that they've been offered over their shareholder base and the creation and launching of this page in response to the desire. So it's good again that the CEO is listening to their shareholders, especially as a small company. This is key. And also we can see that they will be able to know more about the company and its product offerings. HCMC also fully intends to present excellent value offerings directly through its Twitter page, and any direct purchase by shareholders are in essence supporting their investment in the company by adding themselves to our consumer base. So as of now, I am not a current shareholder within HCMC. However, I do find this company very interesting as there's a lot of things happening in the background not even just the lawsuit, but in general, it's quite interesting to see where this company is going to go. And it's hard to know if they will or will not win the lawsuit, but it obviously will have a massive effect either way on the company's stock. For example, in my opinion, if they do lose this lawsuit, it could be disastrous for the company. However, I could be wrong and I am not a financial advisor, but that's just my own kind of honest opinion. But I'll certainly be keeping track of this company going forward, and if there's any big updates, I'll be sure to let you know. Now, the second company that we're going to discuss is HighTide, ticker symbol HITIF. HighTide, in my opinion, is a very good stock, especially at current prices. We currently have about 50 or so shares, and again, that's nothing in comparison to my other stocks. It's only about 25-30 euro at most. So the reason I'm starting off small is because, as I said in prior videos, most penny stocks are kind of hype, pump and dump. However, with this stock, I do believe that it has good potential going forward in terms of strong fundamentals. Again, I've discussed all this in prior videos, so I'll link them in the description below if you're more interested to look at that. But the reason I'm starting off small is because I want to buy on the dip and get a better dollar cost average base, and over time build this position up slowly. So we can see on screen now that we have about 54 shares in HighTide, and it's currently trading at about 60 cents a share. At the moment, we're pretty much break even or up 0.7%, which is quite good considering we were down about 8 or 10% a few weeks ago, and we kind of slowly trickled in a few shares here and there to improve my dollar cost average. So even at current prices, and again because it's a penny stock, it can easily go down about 10% or up 10% at any given time. So anytime this does go back into the red again, we'll buy another few shares, effectively give me a better dollar cost average. One thing I really like about HighTide is that their CEO Raj is quite an approachable guy. Now obviously I haven't been on to him directly, but he does seem to be answering a lot of the kind of everyday kind of person's opinions and questions within the stock, which is extremely important to get transparency, especially in penny stocks. Now we can see on screen here on his Twitter page that they had a discussion with Bloomberg in terms of where this company wants to head. And I suppose with HighTide being a Canadian cannabis stock, it's a no-brainer that they want to expand within the US once legislation and laws kind of go through. So that's obviously a huge catalyst for any company within the cannabis stocks, and especially HighTide with it being a Canadian stock. So I do feel that there is so much potential for HighTide going forward. As I wanted to keep the news articles and catalyst very brief in today's video, it's a very interesting article if you want to give it a read, and it's quite expansive and long, so again I'll keep it out of today's video, but basically in synopsis, it's a kind of overview of Raj and other Canadian stocks in the cannabis sector in terms of their potential going forward and some current kind of problems that arise due to US legislation. In other news as well, HighTide has now opened their 76th cannabis store within Canada, again expanding their current product offering across Canada, which will give them more exposure, and as a penny stock this is extremely promising to see. As I've mentioned in prior videos on HighTide, their Q4 earnings were extremely impressive in my opinion. We'll leave that in the description below as well, but they were very promising for the company, and in my opinion at 60 cents a share currently, stocks such as HighTide are very undervalued. And again, in my first video on HighTide, we went through their product offerings and diversification that they offer, and also some of their celebrity endorsements such as Snoop Dogg. So as you can imagine, having a celebrity such as Snoop in as a brand ambassador for HighTide is as huge importance. So there is a lot of positives going for HighTide, and personally I find it very hard to find any negatives. The only thing I can think of that could alter the growth of this stock is if the US cannabis legislation's laws do not go through. Over the coming days as well, I'm going to be monitoring HighTide's share price. And again, because it's a penny stock, it will be volatile. So anytime it does jump back into the red, I'm going to start pumping in further capital. As again, long term, I do believe that HighTide has a lot of potential. So that's it for today's video. I just wanted to give a brief update in terms of news and catalysts on both HighTide, ticker symbol HITIF, and Health Your Choice Management, ticker symbol HCMC. If you found this video anyway interesting or entertaining, it'd be much appreciated as always if you're new around here, if you consider subscribing to the channel, and if you could smash that like button. And most importantly, if you have any questions, comments, queries or suggestions, please don't hesitate to comment below and I'll be sure to get back to you as quick as I can. Also, it'd be interesting to know how many shares, if any, you have within each of these companies and your plans with this company going forward. Thanks very much, enjoy the rest of your Friday and weekend, and I will see you all in tomorrow's video.